in many applications, and that's your ladders.
Okay.
A 4-foot and 6-foot is really what you want to bring with you. Sometimes an 8-foot, but 4 and 6-foot are typically what you're going to need.
I could only assume with new construction being the way it is, and you'll find this as a contractor, that going out there, more higher ceilings, 10-foot, 12-foot ceilings. So when you run into vaulted ceilings, you're going to need to have the right equipment on the job. So make sure you know what you're getting into before actually going on the job.
Right.
Okay.
And also we have brushes back here. Currently they're packaged up, but they can actually be mounted on the walls just by simply picking up some magnets at your local hardware store and putting them on the side of the vehicle and attaching your magnets to it.
Well, is that the same with the brushes? I mean, not necessarily just with the brushes, but the hoses as well. Because I've seen contractors that have brought their vans up to the company and showed us how they've had them decked out, and they've used racking throughout the van. How does that happen? How
Well,
do they do
absolutely.
that?
There are a lot of companies that will go ahead and just install racking in it. Like we have Regency locally here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that does modifications to vehicles. But also it could be something as simple as hose racks or for garden hoses that you buy at Home Depot. You know, just stick it on the side. So it really depends on what you want to do with your equipment.
And with your budget.
Exactly.
You know, sure, absolutely. Well, well, good. Well, you know, these are just kind of like, you know, going right off of that, you have Rubbermaid containers here. There's nothing special about these, but they house all the different tools, it looks like, and bag filters and tarps that we're going to be using on the job later today. So, you know, and your respirators. Also, you know, the register covers that we'll be talking about. So
Absolutely. Sometimes you get register covers that are really rusty and stuff. Instead of sending the customer to Home Depot or something, you have them on there.
Okay.
And so you have an immediate sell, gives a nice finished appearance to the job.
Well, you got your tool kit. It looks pretty straightforward. You got a shop vac if you're not using the Rotobrush pod, but the setup and the design, you really don't need that much space, it looks like. You know, just having the appropriate size vehicle and the right components to go along with it. So
Absolutely. And you'll change your layout as you go, as you're going to change, get added features and stuff that you're going to do, and it's just an evolution.
all right, well, good. Well, now let's get on to cleaning. When you arrive at your customer's home, remember that first impressions go a long way. It's important that your customer knows that you'll be conscientious while working in their home.
Thank you.
For example, we recommend wearing disposable shoe covers while working.
We're going to go ahead and put this in the off
Take time
position,
to
so it's
explain
nice
what
and
you'll be
beautiful.
doing and answer any questions that your customer may have.
Count all your supplies.
Next, perform a site inspection to develop a cleaning game plan. This includes finding the location of all the thermostats, registers, air handlers, and also to determine the general layout of the ductwork. All central air conditioning and heating systems have three main components. The return air ducts draw room air back into the system for conditioning. That conditioning is performed by the air handler, where the air may be heated, cooled, humidified, or dehumidified. Supply air ducts provide the filtered and conditioned air back into the room space. Filtration may occur at the return air duct openings or at the air handler itself. Understanding the layout of the ductwork is important. You will start cleaning the supply side of the air ducts, beginning with the ducts farthest from the air handler. Then clean the other supply air ducts, working progressively back towards the air handler. This ensures that the areas you have already cleaned will not be recontaminated. After inspection, get with the homeowner and review your cleaning game plan. Discuss upgrading your customers' filters to high-efficiency filters. Explain that during the cleaning process, the central air system will be turned off. In fact, we recommend de-energizing the system at the breaker box. Finally, confirm the price of the job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now, prior to cleaning the air ducts, we want to prepare the area that we're working in. For example, you have a register directly over a lamp here. You want to make sure that you have all furniture and or home accessories away from the area that you're working in. A drop cloth is a great idea to use to make sure that you're catching any particulate, and it's a great way to show the customers you're concerned about taking care of their home.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this register off, and a battery-powered screwdriver is generally going to be your best tool for that. And you could use hand-powered ones, but they'll generally take a little bit more time. Okay, then you may find a register that is either painted, which this one is, or it may be caulked, or it may freely come off. If it is painted on or caulked, you're going to use your knife and cut from the corners in. If you go all the way off one edge, if you were to come off here, you have a good chance of marking the entire wall. Okay, once I get that off, I'm going to go ahead and either I'm going to topically clean the register and the boot opening. If there's heavy contaminants, I'm going to go ahead and mark it with a Sharpie marker. Mark this as a 1 and mark inside the ducting here as a 1 as well. That way when I go clean it outside, I'll know exactly where it goes back.
If the registers are not heavily soiled, use the Rotobrush nozzle adapter and dust brush to vacuum. You may also use a HEPA filtered shop vac. Also, vacuum out the boot area. Clean in the air duct as far as you can prior to cleaning with the Rotobrush. If you determine the register covers are going to need more aggressive cleaning, go through the house, remove those, and take them outside. All right, now that we've got the registers taken off and we've got them out here to clean, I want to talk about not only what to clean them with, but why do we clean registers, Scott?
Well, to be honest with you, it's the one thing that a homeowner or neighbor coming over is going to really notice. If they hear that the ducts are clean, the first thing they're going to do is look right up at the registers. And if there are fingerprints on them and you have gaps around it where you've cut the sealant around them and it's not sealed back up nicely, it's going to be a pretty poor image.
Let's talk about cleaning it. First of all, what type of contaminants do you actually get on a register?
Well, you can get dust, you can get nicotine. There's any multiple type of contaminants you can get. But the most important where you're going to take it outside and clean it is when you get heavy soiling. And this could happen from condensation, kitchens, bathrooms, even laundry rooms, if the homeowners don't use their exhaust fans.
Okay.
And so that's where you're going to have excessive buildup. And so that's where you're going to take this outside and clean it. If it's just minor, a lot of times you can just do topical vacuuming.
Okay, with the actual shop vac attachments right at the register itself.
Exactly.
Okay, well, once it is heavy soiling like that, let's talk about cleaning it. You're going to use a product like a degreaser here, a simple green product.
Yep.
And
I would just use the heavy cleaning ratio.
Okay.
For the mix, usually it's 1 to 1.
Okay.
And but just follow the instructions for the heavy cleaning.
Okay, so you apply that right into a pump sprayer here, and maybe let's say it's 50-50, 50% water, 50% degreaser, and you'll spray it right onto the register covers. Now, after cleaning the registers, one of the notes that you've always talked about in training is having this weather stripping or this sealer right here to make sure that that's dry. Why is that?
Well, if you don't make sure it's dry, if you stick it up in the ceiling or the wall, you can have some water in there, and that can cause discoloration, even running down the wall a little bit. So you just want to make sure it's nice and dry when you put it up there.
Okay.
And it'll be hidden.
Okay. Now, on the louvers as well, when you're taking a register down, it's really important to make sure that whenever you put it back up, that you have the louvers pointing the right direction into the room so that you're not blowing the air against the wall. This is really all about comfort, so make sure that you know the position of the register when you reinstall it. So sometimes cleaning isn't enough, and you need to do more to it, and that's where I guess these spray paints come into place. Why do you have the white, almond, and the brown?
Those are the most common colors that homeowners have. If there's a custom color, if they want to supply the paint, then you have that option.
Okay.
But you just want to keep those on because that's going to cover 95% of everything that you run into. If it's just light covering, just the regular paints. But if you have some rust spots and stuff, then that's where the kill is going to come in. You just want to make sure you get on a nice light coating. And of course, this one here is in pretty good shape, so it's not going to take a whole lot. But some of them you may have to put on a second coat.
What about if you want to sell new registers?
Well, to be honest with you, if they're in really rough shape, then that's going to be your most time-effective means.
So just pick those up at your local store and carry some different sizes on your trucks, I would assume.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into cleaning. Let's start cleaning air ducts. First, turn on the vacuum switch. Make sure you don't turn on the brush before you actually insert the brush into the air duct. Otherwise, contaminants could release back into the area. Once you have the vacuum on and the brush is inserted into the air duct, turn on the brush rotation and start cleaning. Insert the hose into the air duct at a rate of about 1/2 to 1 foot per second. Now, if you're cleaning rectangular ductwork, you need to use the sweeping method to ensure that you're cleaning all sides of the ductwork. You will sweep the air duct by first inserting the brush and the hose all of the way down the duct line.